Aston Martin, a car company loved by many but driven by few. A leading luxury and performance vehicle manufacturer originating from the United Kingdom. A company that's been through many stages over the years. Today we will have a short talk about Aston Martin. So without further ado, let's get started. It was 1913 in a small workshop in London where two auto lovers Lionel Martin and Robert Bamford decided that boring stuff like selling basic cars wasn't their interest. They had an interest in race cars as they did consider themselves race car drivers after competing in the Aston Hill Climb in the village of Aston Clinton. Bamford and Martin had formed a car company and got a 4-cylinder Coventry simplex engine which they used to set the foundation. The official name, however, was Aston Martin, a lovely sounding combination of Lionel's last name and their favorite hill climb. The World War came around and they had to put production on hold, but by 1919 they were both back home designing a new car in a new shop. Sadly, Bamford left the company within a year, but fortunately enough, a year later a wealthy young race car driver, Count Louis Zaborowski, stepped in with some money to help Martin build his cars. Cars they would later enter into the French Grand Prix, all of which went on to set world speed records and endurance records. But soon after, the company was out of money just 2 years later. But this time they got an investment from Lady Charnwood, who bought it just to put her son on the board of directors. The company still managed to fail, which led Lionel Martin to quit and go back to his family business. Lady Charnwood tried to save the company again in 1926 with two new investors, Bill Renwick and Augustus Burt Bertla. They officially named it Aston Martin Motors and started building mostly open two-seater sports cars and race cars. The company was good for some time but still could not solve their money problems. David Brown, owner of a ginormous engineering company that dealt in gearboxes and tractors, took one of the company's existing concept cars for a drive in 1947 and promptly decided to buy Aston Martin. He also picked up struggling luxury maker Lagonda and its Bentley-designed engines, forming the Aston Martin Lagonda as it still exists today. The revived company put a few new Aston Martin 2-liter sports on the road in 1948. That was the name of the car, but nowadays it's referred to as the DB1. The first of the famous DB series named after David Brown. The DB2 was the first Aston to feature an inline 6-cylinder engine. The DB4 debuted at the 1958 London Motor Show. The public started to take notice of the small British automaker. Aston Martin was still heavily involved in racing. In fact, it was believed that Brown only acquired the company to race in the World Sports Car Championship, which he did win 3 times in a row. Almost overnight. Well, in a couple of years, to be honest. Aston Martin became some of the most desirable cars in the world. The 4-seat DBS debuted in 1967 and sported the company's first V8 in 1969, but the company still wasn't making any money. Aston Martin made some awesome cars during the David Brown years, but he couldn't keep it going anymore without turning a profit, so he sold it in 1972, and then the new owners had to sell it again because of the gas crisis. The muscular V8 Vantage came out in 1977. It had a 5.3-liter V8 engine that made 390 horsepower, gifting it the title of Britain's first supercar. It was so good Aston Martin built it all the way up through 1989. In 1987, Ford took a stake in the company. In 1988, the Virage was the first new Aston Martin produced in 20 years. The DB line was also set to return with the upcoming DB7, and they needed a lot more money to make it happen, so Ford bought the rest of Aston Martin and added it to the Premier Auto Group along with other recent acquisitions like Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo. The DB7 was Aston Martin's most successful model to date, with more than 7,000 built by the time the DB9 came out in 2001. The 5.9-liter V12 Vanquish became Aston Martin's new flagship and their fastest production model ever in terms of top speed in the entire 90-year stretch between 1913 and 2003. Aston Martin built fewer than 15,000 cars, but things really turned around in the 21st century and over 45,000 cars have been made since 2003. The V8 Vantage reappeared in 2005 and Aston partnered with Pro Drive to create a motorsport division and make an official return to racing, but it wasn't long before Ford decided to dismantle the PAG group and sell the brands off. But despite another sell-off, the company is still holding its own. The new Aston Martin Valkyrie is Aston Martin's most advanced car in the company, created by legendary designer Adrian Newey. The Valkyrie is powered by an 1,100 horsepower V12 engine and sticks to the road with the help from the craziest aerodynamics ever devised. It's so crazy that it's not even street legal. I wish great things for Aston Martin in the future, as I'll be keeping a close eye on them. I hope you'll stick around with me on the journey. I also hope you guys could leave a like and subscribe for more informative content. That's all. Thanks for watching and see you next time.